Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the esteemed FaceTime with Leaders and Initiative by World Development Corporation. My name is Tanay Ol, and I'm an anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry veterans to come together to share their knowledge, ideas, thoughts, and best practices with one another, as well as with upcoming industry leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings of all our industry stalwarts. We hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leader interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone as they help us to identify, nurture, and work on trade secrets that have already proven a success formula for so many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge sharing community. We have one such highly acclaimed name, a corporate veteran on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Mr. Sudipto Basu. We welcome you on the show, sir.
Thank you.
With an illustrious career spanning nearly 2.5 decades in information technology, he has consistently demonstrated strong leadership acumen and innovative thinking. In his latest role, he has served at Oracle Solution Services India with a committed service of nearly 18 years, and his last designation being the Senior Director of Cloud Solution Engineering for Data and AI. In his role, he has been driving force in Oracle's mission to revolutionize enterprise software and cloud solutions. His role involving leading a dynamic team of cloud architects and engineers, contributing significantly to Oracle Cloud's yearly revenue ranging from $30 million to $45 million. He has also showcased his intrapreneurial leadership by initiating and managing various cloud technology solution platforms. Notably, he has played a pivotal role in growing the Oracle modern data platform practice on Oracle Cloud from scratch, achieving an annualized contract revenue of more than $20 million. His strategic initiatives have led to the development of a diverse portfolio of solution assets, empowering technical field teams to scale and enhance customer reach. His corporate honed prowess and entrepreneurial excellence have culminated in the form of his healthcare startup, which is in its infantile phase. So, sir, to begin with, could you tell us about your journey in the field of information technology, how it led to your last role at Oracle and helped you in your entrepreneurial vision?
Sure. Thank you. First, thank you, Tanay, for having me in this FaceTime series. Glad to be here. And yes, I mean, looking back, coming from the middle class background, growing up in the 90s, I think I was no different than any other person at that point in time who were growing up. Who all dreamed of getting into the corporate world, learning and exploring the world and all of that. So right after my engineering, I joined an MNC, an Indian MNC, a consulting firm, and that started my the learning journey, right? Like, so I started as a developer, then moved into database, then the data and AI and ERPs and whatnot, right? So if I look back, the first initial 10 years, I was only focusing on learning, the next thing, the next technology, the next what is coming, right? And being in a technology field in IT, I think the most daunting challenge and the biggest opportunity, at the same time, is that how do you keep up with technology, right? And that's the need of the hour as well. And that saga has continued, and even now it is becoming even more challenging, and more opportunities are coming. But eventually what happened, as I have grown through the ranks, I joined Oracle 18 years back, and then I've grown through the ranks, I've taken up leadership roles. I moved into managerial, and then into a leaders, running businesses. And what I think is I've been very lucky, right? I've been very lucky in a sense that I got some really entrepreneurial, projects thrown at me, where I had to completely segregate myself, build a team, build a business from scratch. And and something that I've enjoyed so much, so that that learning and that experience have given me the confidence to kind of move into a full-time entrepreneurial journey that I am today, right? But if I look back into this, into the Oracle's journey of 18 years, I think one thing that stands out is that culture that was that was really lived on a daily basis was how can you learn every day, test what you are learning, experiment. It's okay to fail, but at the end of the day, iterate and make it successful, right? I think that entire culture has helped me to kind of take this route and move on beyond, right? Using technology, how can you solve real world problems that impacts customers and users, right, at massive scale? I think that's what is the most exciting part of my journey of 24 years into this field, is not only learning the technology, but what I've learned is the magic happens when you use that technology for the greater good, right? And solve real world problem. So that has got me into what I am today. And yeah, I mean, if I look back, it's been very rewarding, very satisfying, and looking forward to the next 20 years, next 2 decades of my life.
Now, what opportunities did you see or the niche you wanted to fill with your startup, and what are some of the principle and values that you lay as the foundation of your startup?
So my interest, yes, I have been in IT, I've done technology, but through life experiences, right? I have I have had with my parents, with my two kids when they were born, and later at different phases, is there are these healthcare, I had to navigate a lot of healthcare space, right? Like when we were having some medical challenges, when we were having some other kind of challenges, the mental health challenges, and so on and so forth. Through my experience, I got intrigued into this field, right? As I had to navigate multiple challenging times, I got intrigued into this field. And then what I saw is that as India is progressing at a very rapid pace, right, as we are moving from the highest momentum developing country to probably a developed country in the next couple of decades, the healthcare space has to have a huge growth. If you look at the expenditure that we have in healthcare is around 3% of our GDP, which any developed countries way more than 15-16%. Even the OECD countries, right, they are hovering around 11-12%, right? So by default, if you look at it, has to go 4x, 5x, 6x from where it is today in the next decade or so. And that's where I felt there was an inner calling, or whatever you call, right? There was an inner pull that I need to do something around it. And what I thought of a niche was around the mental health space, which is one area uh, which has always been under the carpet a lot because of the social stigma. But what I've realized is with the millennials, with the Gen Zs, and the Gen Alphas, with the new generation, with this next generation that are coming, I think a lot of these social stigma are are being taken away, right? There is a tailwind in which people are realizing that health is important, number one. Not only physical health, right? Like you go to a gym, you do so and so things, you eat well, but also the mental health and the growth of an individual, right, is very, very important in this high paced world. And that's the area where my interest lies. So I, again, coming back to the theme of what my 24 years, my past has been, and how can I bring it forward, is how can I bring in technology to help solve this problem, bring more opportunities to people at their fingertips, where they can do stuff on their own, right? Using a platform, a digital platform, which increases reachability, reduces cost, brings in a lot of newer innovations in this field, and keeping the privacy of their records, of their data, and all of that intact, right? So that's the area, that's the niche that I'm working on. And coming back to some of the values that you asked, Tanay, I have a firm belief that that it has to be any corporate setup, right, which we build, it has to be based on based on trust and care, right? I think these are the two things which the Indian healthcare ecosystem needs, and these are the two things which which I am using as an anchor point to build my own product.
So having worked in the IT domain, what kindled your interest in corporate governance?
Very interesting, right? My engineering brain comes in play as well. To start with, of course, I did my engineering and then an executive MBA from IIM Bangalore. But but I think I'm a born engineer, right? My thought process will always be from an engineering side. So if you look at any software, any hardware, right? Whatever phone you are using, anything that you use, the laptop that you are using, whatever we are talking, all of this functioning in real world needs effective monitoring, control. If something goes wrong, it has to auto recover, right? If your internet goes off, it will auto connect, right?
Yeah.
All of these are governance. So this governance we have put in even in IT. And now, as I moved from an engineer to a leader and made that that transformation or transition to a business leader, I felt that whatever we used to do in the technology field, it's nothing different in the business,
Yeah.
right? It's just that the same thing if you want to bring in, and that's where the corporate governance comes in, right? And if you look at, doesn't matter if you're a 100-year-old corporate, if you're a new startup, you need to bring in the right level of checks and balance, so that whatever you are doing, kind of, helps people, right?
Yeah.
And helps the ecosystem, right? Yes, generation of wealth, running the business and all that is important. But at the end of it, maintaining the ecosystem of the environment that we are in, right? Maintaining that the law of the land and the rules of the land and the society are being kept is very, very important. And that's what I've learned through my experience, that when I moved into the leadership role, there was so much emphasis within Oracle on Oracle code of ethics, right? To the extent that we had to go through rigorous training, we had to go through all of that. And then there was another set of training on corporate governance and what to do, what not to do, how to deal with partners and all that, because Oracle had a lot of partners, right, which we used to deal on a daily basis. So all of this culminated into the fact that, look, if I have to run a business, whether in a big company or I have to do my own startup, whatever I do, I need to go deep, understand, learn, and then effectively contribute in this ecosystem, right? Because this is very important for India at this juncture, when we are seeing explosive growth, in the in India, right? So in any field that you take, so it's important that we inculcate that as a culture within the corporate ecosystem, which helps in maintaining, nurturing, as well as growing this ecosystem. We don't want to get into issues that we see all around, right? There are so many issues that we have seen, even with startups, even with larger corporations, right? We don't want to get into, and some of these are also, if you look at Tanay, is are also to do with redefinition. I think some of the corporate governance thing that we have defined maybe 20-30 years back, with the advent of the newer technology, especially AI and all that, I think needs a redefinition. And that's where my interest lies. That's where my my passion lies, in the fact that let's go learn, redefine, regurgitate, and and make that thriving and contribute to that thriving ecosystem.
So, as a corporate governance expert, what values do you bring to the table?
Look, other than my experience as a business leader within in Oracle, where I had, as an I used to call myself as entrepreneur, because I used to get so many projects, and I was very lucky again that that in each one of these, right, I had to go talk to the legal department, talk to so many other departments, because we are building things from scratch, right? And then as I evolved and looked at Indian healthcare system, because that's where my interest lies and all of that, I figured out that, if there are two things that we need to really focus on, right, it will be trust and care, right? It's applicable in any corporate setup. It's applicable in healthcare. Like, let me just simplify, right, for the sake of simplicity. If you are running any business, right, if I can in a simplistic manner say largely there are four pillars, right, that you have to manage. One is your employees, second is your customers, right, third are your partners, fourth is the entire environment or the ecosystem that you operate. It can be the country, it can be the locality that you are, it can be the environmental setup that you are, depending on what your businesses are. So if these are the four players, how can you make things win-win for all these four entities, right? And if that's the essence of corporate governance, that's what we intend to do, that anything that we build, anything that we do, we make it win-win for all these parties. Then I think trust and care are the two things that in my mind is an absolute necessity, is an absolute anchor point that can be used, that has to be used to kind of make this, right? So any corporate governance decision, any new governance rules that you want to bring in, right, with the advent of AI and other things, there are a lot of discussion on ethical AI and things like that. Any such thing that you want to bring in, right, which will be a natural evolution of where the world is moving, if you can take care of trust, and if you can take care of the care element of it, that we care for all the parties, it's a win-win. It's not that for me to win you have to lose, right? If that's the anchor point that we all base base all our decisions on, I think that's where I'm interested. That's the value that I want to bring into the table in on every discussion, on every decision making phase. I want to hinge my decision based on these two elements, on these two anchor points, which I am living every day while I'm building my own organization as well. Hope that makes sense, Tanay.
Your patent on machine learning predictions for database migrations is quite impressive. Can you share the inspiration behind this innovation and its significance in the industry?
Yeah, I mean, it brings a smile on my face because it brings those memories of working as a team. So, I mean, this is a team effort that we had put in. There are a lot of technical brains behind it, who had really worked hard to build this out. So I think with due credit to all, I was just one part of it. But if look, data is the new fuel, right? Everybody uses that term, but in its true sense, I think data is the real enabler, right? For every business, it's not the algorithms. If you look at, the algorithms are becoming ubiquitous today, right? You have the same algorithm, right, with chat GPT and others coming in. You have the same algorithm that is available to anyone.
True.
It's what data you have that you can feed into that algorithm so that you get the insight will make the difference. And that's where I think the essence of, where do you keep your data, where does it make sense to keep your data, where you get the the best outcome out of it. Now what we have seen is, any CIOs, or in today's parlance, any CDOs, the chief data officers, right, who make those decisions, they're always very wary of moving data from one place to another, right? There are constraints, there are risk associated, so all of that. So the uh, biggest hindrance that we had seen of people moving to cloud in a big bang way was the inability, or the, I'll not say inability, but the lot of apprehensions about how do I move my data, right? So this was an endeavor, as a small endeavor, to kind of make that journey better, make that journey better for CDOs, CIOs, and all that, by giving them a very structured framework and approach of how do you move your data based on all the parameters in which their data operates, what are the risk, the security, the the network bandwidth, so on and so forth, right? There are like, hundreds of parameters that they can. How do you move that data? And what is the optimal way to move that data, right? And give you an empirical, a viewpoint of by utilizing your own parameter as well as past experiences, right? So it was an ML driven framework that we had developed. We built the prototype, of course, based on Oracle database, because we were all in Oracle and it worked fine. But the concept, that patent concept, can be used in every data movement, in every data project, right? Be it big data, structured, unstructured, right, semi-structured, any kind of data from point A to point B, right? So that's the framework that we had developed, and hopefully that is something which got integrated into Oracle's tools and other things that they have been developed. So yeah, I mean, very proud of the team that had built, and it brings always those good memories, right? And I'm sure the team would be very proud of what they have achieved, and hopefully, you know, the Oracle can take that framework and make it bigger, better with all the upcoming products that are coming.
So, what changes do you envision or wish to bring about with the implementation of all these new technologies like IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, cloud, digital twin, big data, Web 3.0 in your field?
Yeah, that's quite a bit, right? Like,
Yeah.
let me just start, okay, from AI. So look, AI ML has been there for decades, right? But most of it was basically on paper, right? Because there were lack of computational power
Yeah.
through which you could have run some of those big algorithms. Excuse me. But today that has been solved, right? Today, with the advent of all these high computing, machines and hardwares and all that are coming, AI and ML has become a reality, right? You can run any algorithm. I mean, ChatGPT is the biggest example. They have like billions of parameters on which they have run, the entire internet data, right? So I think that brings in a lot of possibilities for corporates, right? Because corporates will have their own data, right? And enterprises, if you look at the enterprise data, you will have your own data, right? Now, traditionally, what we have seen is the enterprises have struggled to manage that data, right? And get meaningful insight out of that data, right? And it used to be huge projects, huge investment that people used to make, and the return on those investment in many cases were yet to be realized, right? And hence, I think there were a lot of apprehensions of getting into such data projects. But today, those have been shattered, right? Today, it's this computing power and the advent of cloud, it has made a level playing field, right? What a corporate can do, even a small startup can do with the same, if they have the data. But it has brought in new challenges, right? With every new opportunity comes new challenges. Is are the AIs becoming too much powerful, right? Will it help mankind or will it work against mankind, right? So the entire conversation on ethical AI, right? That is something where I think corporate governance needs to come in, right? And new governance has to come in to manage. The board of these companies, which are building this, has to play a much more responsible role. Now let's come to IoT and blockchain. I think, and another set of huge technology advancement that we have made, and which has made digital twin a reality, right? Where if you look at, right, in your manufacturing, in construction engineering, in automotive, right, even in healthcare, using digital twin, you can replicate the entire functioning, the entire life cycle of of an object or a machine or whatever you are building, right? And use all the data, the live feed, and can predict any anomalies, right? And can make it so robust that that it will bring it will take everything forward, right? We can build bridges, which you can be very sure of that nothing will happen, right? Because you have tested all the parameters. So that's where huge opportunity comes in, right, with digital twin. Similarly, if you look at with with Web 2.0, I mean, last 15 years we have seen, the Web 2.0 created so much possibilities for us, right? Web 1, Web 2, the entire internet, right? Like today you have everything available. You have social media, you have all the information. That has been such an enabler, right? All the startups and all these new businesses that have been built around it. But haven't we created another problem? Because today the Web 2.0 companies have all data, all your, mine, all of our data with them. So they are basically controlling, what I see, what I buy, and trying to influence my decision making, right? Now there will be a thin line, right, where of course this is, this falls within the gambit of marketing and reaching out to you, giving you options, versus another thing is, am I getting all the options, or is it getting manipulated, right? So I think that's where again that that governance needs to come in, right?
Yeah.
All the challenges that I see with Web 2.0 will get solved in Web 3.0, though in its infancy. The Web 3.0 is something, which by a concept will bring that privacy of your data, give you control of your data, right? So that you decide what gets shared where, you decide what you build, you decide whom
True.
you build with, and all of that. So look how every new opportunity brings in challenges with governance, and that gets solved with another new opportunity, and that's how technology has evolved and is evolving, right?
Yeah.
So what I see is, all that in short, if I look at, technology advancement will happen, right? It's nobody can stop, right? What we need to do is we need to evolve our governance model, right? I'll leave with one example, right? How you have defined monopoly 30 years back, 40 years back, right? In today's world, that definition of monopoly needs to change, right? In the corporate governance, because the Web 2.0 companies, are they monopoly or are they not, depending on what question and what question you are asking and what answers you are getting. So I think that there lies the challenge of the next evolution of corporate governance, that needs to happen.
So we're building a community here of industry magnates. The move is meant for cross-pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge-sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. What are your thoughts about this initiative taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Heval Mehta, and the whole World Development Corporation team?
Yeah, I'm very impressed. I have actually attended a couple of, I think, webinars, done by Mr. Jishan, right? And one of them, through one of that, I got interested in, and I got, I got hooked up with Directors Institute. But even outside of Directors Institute, right, you have a couple more other business unit, digital transformation and I Square and all that. I think the vision of using technology for the greater good of the environment and people, if I'm getting the essence of your vision and mission statement, I think I'm completely, in line with that. And that's why I'm associated with Directors Institute. I think Directors Institute has given that platform for us to learn, right, and venture into corporate governance and with the right set of knowledge, and also contribute in this ecosystem. I think that's where the vision is, that you want to build that ecosystem of like-minded people, of people having diversified background, to come together and share their experiences and build the next level of corporate governance, right, which we talked about, for the last whatever 40 minutes or so. So yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very thankful for creating this ecosystem, and I'm part of it. I'm seeing the benefit of it. So thank you very much.
Great, sir. It was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that your insights will truly inspire future leaders. Thank you so much for joining us today, and wish you the best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute unquestionably has expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds. Thank you so much, sir.
Sure, you are most welcome, and the pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much.
Have a great day ahead.
Thank you. You too.